Ladies and gentlemen, very warm good afternoon. I cordially welcome each and every one of you for the CXO Roundtable Mumbai. So before we start, let me explain. CXO Roundtable is a business conversation platform for transformation. So it's high-profile talks and conversations with leaders and experts in business, technology, and innovation that transforms leaders, impact organization, and to develop evolving business models. So this event is sponsored by the Tata Telebusiness Services. They are the country's leading enabler of the connectivity and communication solutions for businesses in India. They offer services ranging from connectivity, collaboration, cloud, IoT marketing, and security solutions. And they are also the country's leading provider of ICT services for the business. So let me quickly start today's lovely session by introducing the speakers. Now, I know this is a virtual session, but let us give a good round of applause as I introduce everyone's name so that we have a good energy flowing inside the hall. So let me introduce, starting with Mr. Sandeep Golechha, founder and CEO, Oomero Limited. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So we also have Ms. Neha, Khattod, the director of Yash Finpro International Private Limited. Welcome, Neha. Pleasure having you. We also have Sanam Jain, director, Nano Serendipity Consortium Private Limited. Welcome, Sanam. Pleasure to have you. We have Mr. Umesh Mehta, director, Samco Securities Limited. Welcome, Mr. Umesh. Pleasure to have you. And last but not the least, we have our very own Janis, the regional director of Tata Telebusiness Services, Mumbai. Welcome, Janis.
Yes.
So before we jump on to the round table for the day, let me quickly introduce Janis to give a welcome note and to set the note on a high for today's session. Over to you, Janis.
Thank you, and a very good afternoon to all the eminent speakers and to all the participants who have logged in to be part of the CXO Roundtable series on behalf of Tata Telebusiness Services. I would like to talk something about what are our core strengths and what is it that we are focusing today in the market. So Tata Telebusiness Services, also known as TTBS, belongs to the prestigious Tata Group of companies, which is the country's leading enabler of connectivity and communication solutions for businesses, with services ranging from connectivity, collaboration, cloud, security, Internet of Things, and marketing solutions. TTBS offers the largest portfolio of ICT services for businesses in India. Now, with COVID, which is almost 1.5 years, we have seen how it has acted as a tipping point for digital transformation of the workplace. And this will speed up further as technology is now a vital pivot on which enterprises are totally dependent for their business continuity and growth. Digital agility, thus, is becoming a critical factor for the workforce to communicate and collaborate effectively, both internally and with customers. Now, enterprises are moving fast on the digital curve, and they are embracing hybrid work culture that allows them to service their customers from anywhere and anytime. To meet this growing demand, we have strengthened our portfolio of services such as cloud-based communication solutions. And very recently, we have launched our advanced cloud communication suite by the name SmartFlow, which combines an uninterrupted flow of business communication with intelligent call routing and monitoring. Not only this, it also offers on-demand scalability. Now, with work from home increasing because of COVID, we know how important security is. So therefore, we have also developed the layer of security on SmartFlow. It comes with enterprise-grade security and reliability. Now, cyber attacks like phishing, ransomware, etc., have become far more pervasive and sophisticated, especially during the pandemic. To address this, TTBS has enhanced its cybersecurity portfolio to provide a world-class security platform to offer email security, web security, next-generation firewall, endpoint security, and multi-factor authentication security. Therefore, we have access to a comprehensive smart perimeter security proposition that is robust, scalable, and can be rapidly deployed at an affordable cost. Not only that, we also have work from anywhere solutions. For example, hosted IVR, hosted PBX, audio and web conferencing solutions, international bridging services, and the entire connectivity and collaboration suite. We also have Internet of Services, where our portfolio comprises of asset management, fleet management, school bus tracking, and workforce management. So, for the last 2 decades, customer engagement has been our core, and we would enable enterprise to compete and win in their respective business segments. We will continue to play the role of technology enabler by strengthening our portfolio of services, especially in the areas of connectivity, collaboration, SaaS, IaaS, IoT, and cloud, while simultaneously enhancing our network and sales reach capability to cover as much of the enterprise footprint as possible and enable them to do it. Once again, I would like to thank each one of you for sparing your time and joining the session. I'm sure it will be an insightful one for all of us. Thank you. Thank you, Muthu.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Janis, for that beautiful welcome note and beautifully explaining about how Tata Tele is helping the SMEs to grow, especially in the tough times like pandemic. So without any further ado, let's quickly jump on to the today's much awaited roundtable discussion. So as I told you, this is going to be a full-fledged roundtable panel discussions wherein we have lovely entrepreneurs who are going to be the business leaders in few years down the line for this amazing roundtable. So the theme of today's roundtable is going to be building a digital resilience to thrive in the new normal. So this couple of years has been a complete turnaround for everyone, not just in business aspect, the entire lifestyle, right? So starting from your lifestyle itself, your business, the way things are happening around the globe has completely changed. If someone had come and told us back in 2019 December about this pandemic, do we have really believed? No. But again, they said it's going to end in a year. No, it's second year again, and it's going in full-fledged, and I don't see any chances of improvement anytime soon. But one thing which has also changed is the way we do business, the way how a business leader approaches towards his or her business. So I'd like to start today's roundtable with a question. So what went into your mind when they first announced the lockdown, and what were your top priorities as a CEO? So I'd like to start with Mr. Sandeep Golechha. Over to you, sir. So please unmute yourself, sir.
Mistake. Yeah, the pandemic really, it changed a lot for us in terms of how we worked. That was the biggest change, and also, a lot of our team were actually impacted. Working from home came with so many challenges of how do you manage your servers, how do you manage your workloads, how do you manage the collaborative piece between everyone that we have on our tech team. How do you problem solve when we're used to whiteboarding? So these, and we're in a very regulated space, especially in who we service and our clients, and that created its own number of complexities, and it meant that we had to spend a lot more time explaining, creating systems, creating whiteboarding sessions, but doing it all virtually, which was interesting, I would say. My drawing skills aren't as good on a Wacom tablet as they are on a nice big whiteboard. So that was quite a challenge for me. I think also for our team, the impact was all over. Families being impacted. There was that hurricane last year as well. That also impacted a lot of our staff, and they had family there. Some of our staff lost their houses and stuff, had to go back. Parents were not well, so we had to become more compassionate. You couldn't you couldn't drive. But I think we also saw that, the team realized they had to pick up the slack as well. You're saving time, you're saving, you're not having to commute. So you save a lot of time. Some guys are spending an hour and a half on a commute. That made a big difference. Client-wise as well, having to deal with their new requests and stuff, and how we have to change and upgrade systems for them. That was another big thing for us, explaining and helping. Because predominantly we work in the payment space, so we have massive issues with like phishing fraud and account takeovers and stuff like that, and more complex frauds. So that became a critical thing for us as to how to actually manage that, how to actually help solve that. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Sandeep, for that lovely input. I think Neha is having a good smile on her face. Probably she's recollecting the happenings of the last 2 years. Let me hear it from Neha. So what ran into your mind, Neha?
Thank you, Muthu, for the compliment. You made my day. So, once the lockdown began, we were in a state of distress, like as to how we will manage the running of our business, because everything is offline in our segment. Like we have to meet the client, perform due diligence activities before we close the mandate. Now, this was a challenge because of the restriction imposed and the travel restrictions. This was going to be a tough time for us. So, and the top priority that time, what we felt is, you find the mechanism to sail through this lockdown. And we need to overcome this problem. And thankfully, we faced problems finding, solution to this. We had to perform transactions online entirely, but we managed it.
Fantastic. So I think everyone have learned how to manage during this tough time. Like how Mr. Sandeep had also told, most of the entrepreneurs have completely changed their bedroom into their new workspace. I see a lot of entrepreneurs having this green screen on the back just to attend the Zoom. So all of them are having this microphone and new web cameras. Well, I think, as you told, we're all learning to cope up with it, because I don't think so we have a better option to do. So thank you, Neha. Let me quickly ask Mr. Umesh, it's over to you.
Yeah. So on March 22nd, when there was a curfew, we understood that things would be really bad, because China was an example. China, severe lockdowns were there. So immediately then and there, we took the decision to acquire 80% of laptops for our entire team. 20% had and 80% were working on desktop. So I think that decision really saved us, and we got delivery next day, and within 2 days we were able to distribute all the laptops, and people were safely, they could work from home. So our processes and all those things were already digital, so softwares were there. But the only point was that we did not have that capability to move people around from their home. So I think laptop saved us a lot, and all our processes were fine-tuned. There was no disruption. So we are basically into financial transactions, stock broking. So I think seamless connectivity, customer service, nothing was impacted, and we were able to shift the entire operations overnight to work from home. So I think that was one of the important decisions that we were able to take. In fact, because we are into financial industry, risk reward we generally take into consideration. And the risk that was, if we don't order laptops, and had we waited for a few more days, we wouldn't have delivery of those hardware. So I think we were lucky, and we were able to quickly decide, and I think that saved us a lot in terms of disruption, and we were able to do flawless services.
Fantastic, Mr. Umesh. I think all the financial transaction segments have seen a huge boom during this pandemic, because I don't remember the last time I used money for any transaction. It's all phone pay and Google Pay as of now. So fantastic, Mr. Umesh. Let me quickly pull in Mr. Sandeep Jain. So let me introduce Sandeep Jain at this juncture. He is the director of HTP Global Technologies Private Limited. Sandeep, over to you, Sandeep. Let me quickly ask you this question. What ran into your mind when they announced the lockdown, and your top priorities as a CEO? Sandeep Jain, are you with us? So kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Yes, I've unmuted now. Can you hear me now?
Yes, very loud and clear.
Fine. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
I think the whole lockdown came as a blessing in disguise.
Okay.
We are an IT company. We are an IT services company, and we do a lot of remote working for a lot of clients. And whenever we go, one thing which we tell all the clients is to adapt to the new environment. And here it came on a platter, where we were saying in terms of all the repercussions which our customers used to have. What about data privacy? How can I have so many nodes? How can I have so many people at the same time? And here was a situation where you had to go for a big bang approach. So internally, for all the contracts that we do, the only challenge, the major challenge, because we do VPN, we do remote working for most of the clients. So the immediate challenge was only to see how our staff works comfortably from at home. So while we were looking at the global trends of lockdown taking place in many of the countries, many already had started putting into place. So to be very honest, almost or around after 15th of March, we called a meeting in the war room and said, what were to happen if we were to go into a lockdown? And so we created scenarios, just like in a military situation, in a war-like situation, what we would have to do. And we got our IT guys, everyone, and they spent really some sleepless nights. But we got the system together saying 80 of our engineers will have to work from home. So how will we work that out? So that rolled out very nicely. Second thing which supported was almost all our clients in India had to work from home. So there was a sense of deja vu with the clients as well. So the challenge did not come from our side, but this challenge was ubiquitous. So one part was the technology implementation of the remote working, which was done with some hiccups. Number two, encouraging the employees particularly to give the same kind of productivity when working from home. That was another challenge, because in a services industry, SLAs are there, whether you deliver or whether you not deliver. So whether an employee is working from home or whether he's working from your office space, nothing changes basically. So I think we got the ball rolling around 19th or 20th of March, and by 23rd March, we had a complete setup which was seamlessly integrated into the whole scene.
Okay.
So yes, a lot of support from client side. Client side
Right.
also having the same situation as us. So things went out. And hence, when the business came as usual, hence I said it became a blessing in disguise, and a lot of mindsets were broken over there. All the ideas that we held up that remote will not work, etc., everything vanished overnight.
Fantastic.
And now, in fact, most of the clients want to adopt this model in terms of cost savings.
Okay.
We are looking for a hybrid model also.
Thank you, Mr. Sandeep. Just when I was kind of skeptical to, every time we do a CXO talk, we always have a couple of business at least who say that the pandemic was a blessing in disguise. So just when I was skeptical, why couldn't I find someone that way? There comes Sandeep and telling me the same. So fantastic,
It's a blessing in disguise, I can tell you.
Thank you, Sandeep. I'll get back to you. Yes, over to Sanam. Sanam, let me hear it from you. Please unmute yourself, Sanam.
Hello. Hi.
Yes.
My name is Sanam Jain, and I'm representing Nano Serendipity Consortium Private Limited. We are into IT and innovative sustainable solutions for multiple esteemed clientele like Taj Mahal Palace, Oomero, Sheraton, GMR Airport. During the COVID pandemic, of course, the remote workforce transformation, as Mr. Sandeep Jain mentioned, was very paramount importance. And of course, a lot of advanced digital transformation was imperative that we had implemented. And a lot of hyper-personalized consumer engagement was a requirement and was a need of the hour. So we ensured that the consumers were engaged at every touch points, whether it was the website, the email, the apps, or any other touch points, where the consumers could have an experience where the entire portfolio of amalgamation of their requirements could be met at those touch points. So we ensured with a lot of unique technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, edge computing, IoT devices, etc. As in a lot of our sustainability models, we have IoT devices running on the solar energy panels, which captures the solar energy efficiency in real time. So the entire real-time data was accurately transferred at the right time in real time to the right kind of a software and the hardware, so that the decisions could be made real time based on the recommender systems. So we were on the forefront of implementing all these innovative technologies and futuristic technologies with, of course, a lot of responsible AI, as it is very important to have the ethics and the responsibility in the artificial intelligence into place to do with accountability and scalability and transparency, safety, security, so that the data is completely secured, because the data usually when we are gathering of a lot of the clientele, it should be utilized in the right manner, just for the perspective of training the ML models and in the right manner without any bias. So we had implemented a lot of these technologies, and it helped us navigate through the pandemic in a very optimistic manner.
Thank you, Saran. There were a lot of T's while you were talking about security and a lot of other fantastic. So one thing which I could visually see from the speakers who have seen is you guys have adapted. The pandemic is here and it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So the entire country has to get vaccinated, which is not possible for the next couple of years or so. So I'm very happy, considering about myself and also the others, to see the fact that we as an entrepreneurs are very quick to adapt to the given situation and we are running the business successfully. Fantastic. Talking about a very interesting outcome of this pandemic is the culture of work from home. I think there were a few speakers who have talked about it already, but I don't remember if IT guys will still remember where their office is located. So they'll go, I think they'll go on to search where my office is, or certain offices are even closed. So they might find an empty space the next time they suit up and go to the office. But one thing you can definitely not tell the employees is to stand up during this conference meeting. So for the very fact that they'll obviously be in pajamas. Right. So I would like to ask you, this round table, since it's taking a different, flight at this juncture. Let me quickly ask you, how do you foresee the workforce? What is the future of workforce post-COVID? Now, it definitely differs. You can't expect a marketing person to sit at the home and work. And similarly, an IT professional didn't come to the office or he doesn't have to remote. So it depends upon industry. So let me ask it to you. What is the future of workforce post-pandemic? But before we start, let me quickly remind you, we have just 40 minutes more. So kindly have your responses a little crisp, so we'll get everyone else to talk. I would again start with Mr. Sandeep Golechha. Over to you.
Yeah, hi Muthu. So yeah, I think for our business, because we work in 3 countries. So we work in India, and we work in the US and in the UK. I mean, our strategy going forward at the moment is straight work from home. We have meeting rooms which we use from different companies, these are service offices companies, and we've just hired a couple of little rooms there, and then have client meetings if we have to go and bring a client to the office. Or if we have to do a whiteboarding session, we just utilize those. And most of our staff have to come. They have to come in once in a couple of weeks to do a complete download session. So it's brought our costs down for sure. No need to have a full rent these huge spaces at these little offices. Instead, just have a very nice small office, 4 or 5 people, and off we go. And it's working really well for us. So that's our stance going forward, basically.
Fantastic, Sandeep. Over to Neha.
I think the future for the workforce post-COVID is not about full-time employment. We have to find ways. We have to find the output with virtual means too. That's what we have learned. And I think technology being the top priority now. So I think the managerial jobs can be intermittently done with a 50% capacity doing online and offline. However, the limitation still remains with the blue collar jobs. So we need to build a hybrid kind of a model where we can allocate the online and offline jobs in a proper way. Like coming back to us, like Yash Finpro International Private Limited, we are having our clients and our partners globally. So, we to be globally connected, we just cannot, I mean, like, the international travel is just, there is a restriction now. So we need the technology to get the output. And, having partners in US, Australia, UK, and Africa, we have, managed it with the technology. And I think this is the future, and we should be future ready.
Okay, fantastic. So future is not full-time employment, as Neha said. Fantastic. So let me hear from the others. Over to Umesh.
So future of workforce, I think this question was also asked during World War One, when men in large number had gone out to war, and public in general had also gone for war. So that time women had they filled the void, and they were able to do the work. And people were surprised during that time, Europe, America, the entire Europe, that women were able to do the kind of work, a good number of work that men were doing. And I think that experience made that foundation clear that women can work. And I think that's a beginning of a major practice that we have seen around the world, that women have started to work. So I think, and after this in 1918, Britain had given voting rights to women above the age of 30 for the first time, who had property. So this entire changes that we have seen, I think work from home is also going to stay for permanent. A good number of employees, those who have bargaining power, will demand that they will work from home. So we will have a hybrid model, but permanently, yes, we have shifted from a total office work to a work from home type of culture, or we will have a hybrid model, and that's a permanent, we are going to stay with it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Umesh. Let me quickly ask Sandeep Jain. So over to you.
Sure. I think the way what we have adopted internally is work from home as a policy. So we are very clear on this. Almost 90 to 95% staff, we want to work from home. In fact, we do have large offices. We have an area of around 7 to 8,000 square feet. A lot of it is idle here in the prime Mumbai space over here. But as a policy, what we've said is something which has worked very well for last 15 months. We've seen tremendous increase in employee productivity. We've been able to rationalize most of our service processes. And I think it's working as a win-win situation for us as well as clients. What we have definitely done is created a work from home allowance for employees. So it becomes a boost in that sense. Yet, if anyone wants to work from physical office, we are not close to that idea. But we want to restrict it to just 10 to 15% and nothing more than that. Yes, there are some employees who have some physical space problem, who may not be having good internet connections, who may be having some more number of family members. So we have been sensitive to those kind of issues. So where we've started, kind of a rolling working week amongst the employees. So on a monthly basis, we just take a log, how many of them want to actually come home. And let me tell you, that figure has never exceeded 10% till date. So so we've not made it a rule, but it is a system which is telling us itself that if we have 100 employees, do not expect more than 10 to 12. So yes, when the things open up completely and we say the COVID got goodbye completely, or it tells us we are going to some other planet, then I believe our get-togethers will be more of outings, more of strategy meetings, rather than meeting for operational purposes in the office. And I think that will work very well. So there is a dramatic shift in the culture. And this paradigm has to be inculcated in the new employees. That is very, very essential. Particularly the millennials. They are enjoying it, let me tell you. And the rewards are aplenty. And customers are not complaining. That is the best part.
Thank you, Sandeep sir. I'll get back to you. Thank you for that wonderful response. Over to Sanam.
Yes, I believe the future of workforce lies in the amalgamation of design thinking, agile methodologies, and of course, artificial intelligence engagement in a human approach amongst the employees in our team members, and of course, in order to reduce the attrition rate, amongst the employees, or in order to reduce the churn rate ratio amongst the loyal consumers, we need to adopt artificial intelligence and have a hyper personalized journey at every touch point that will really help us in motivating a lot of our employees and in motivating a lot of our consumers to remain loyal and to enjoy the entire work culture and for the consumers to adopt the brands more consciously. So I believe, yes, it is very important. Artificial intelligence is at every touch point, and we should be utilizing the data ethically at every touch point.
Fantastic, fantastic, Sanam. Thank you. So at this juncture, it is also a pleasure to introduce and invite yet another eminent speaker who is amongst us, Mr. Pradeep Kumar Gohil. So he is the co-founder and CEO of World Miro Stock Exchange. Pradeep, so we are talking about the future of the workforce. So may I request you to share your views on this? So Pradeep, kindly unmute yourself.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, sir. Now clear.
So we innovate one application which is easiest way to common masses will be applied. Any kind product buying or service is higher under Microsoft.
Pradeep sir, your audio is a little troubled, I believe. Yeah, I think there is some. Yeah, please proceed. Please proceed.
So we innovate this application and we're going globally all the big stock exchange, which is convert into Microsoft holding value proposition, and every consumer will be get Microsoft holding value proposition because of in big stock exchange there is a risk of the apply any kind of risk sector of the global marketplace. But we start this kind of the social stock exchange, which is considered with every consumer transaction convert into Microsoft holding value proposition. So it is easiest way to know there is a risk to ROI or any subject to the global market, and easiest way on the spot that the daily profit sharing exchange, any sell of the any product buy or any product selling, and then they become a step by step pull out. There is a finance burden on the poverty and all this. So easiest way. Recently we went to global from the NASDAQ, and we welcome to all the CEO, all the industry, all the all the security exchange commission of the entire globally will be participate with us, and they allow to us to trial basis start their country or there is a reason we start our World Microsoft Exchange. This is there is a no litigation for the any kind of the financial risk or any kind of the marketing, any kind of the buying product and all this, because common masses will be happy to apply there any kind of the product buy or service hire under our terms, condition, Microsoft holding value proposition, buy, sell, marketing or activity. Also, big stock exchange private equity will fulfill within a hour all kind of their private equity will fulfill by our World Microsoft Exchange population following and all this. So we waiting for that this proof of concept making with the government, the RBI and all these things. So we expand all our network workload to the entire world, and common market will be easy to apply. There is any kind of the finance sector, credit, insurance, saving, pensioning and all this, because we are not any risk and all this thing. Because people have to only buy in under market.
Okay.
That's enough to pull out for the any kind of the finance product or poverty or marketing or any listing for the private equity and all this.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Pradeep, for that wonderful input. Kindly have a small check on your audio, so the next time we can all hear a little more clearly. So, as an entrepreneur, things aren't always easy for us, right? There is a lot of things that we have to keep a check on. On one hand, we have to be financially strong. We have to have a good financial planning. Pradeep, sir, kindly mute yourself so that we don't have to. So on one hand, we have to be financially well planned. But on the other side, we can't just like that through our employees as well. We have to be a little more considerate, right? Because these situations are prevalent for temporary period of time. But just for that sake, our staff's welfare is also very important. So talking about which, I would like to ask you a very interesting question. How do you strike the balance between empathetic and a cost-effective leadership? So again, I'll start with Mr. Sandeep Golechha. Over to you.
Hang on with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way we've gone about it. I mean, I'm sitting in India for nearly 2 years now. I mean, I typically was spending 1 month in London, 1 month in India. That was my typical life. And having to sit in one place for 1 year means that you've got to be a little bit more considerate to everyone, wherever you are. And being in India for such a long time, having never spent this long in any one country in my whole life, it's been quite a challenge for me. I've forgotten what a aircraft looks like, so I'm quite used to jumping on a plane 4 days later, 7 days later somewhere else, 10 days later somewhere else. That was my life. But then seeing how a lot of my employees, what they go through on a daily basis over here, seeing the struggles, seeing the rains in Mumbai, upfront and personal, it's changed a lot of the way I think about things. But it's also being cognizant about actually, how they have to actually travel to work, travel to where they were coming to, their own problems, family lives, stuff like that. I think, I think companies in general maybe have to become more empathetic in India. Just in general, I think some of the cultures I've seen just don't agree with me in today's world, but at the same time, we as a company, at Oomero, wherever we have, our teams and whatever, we're quite, if there's a problem, come to me, and I'll see how we can make it work. That's the attitude we've always taken, right? There's like 3 of us at the top that you can come to anytime you got a problem. But just we have a really simple thing: don't lie to us, right? If we find out you're lying, then it kind of changes everything. So if you're telling me you're sick and then I see you doing Instagram posts, that's not going to work, right? Or you're going out to a coffee shop when you're telling me you're lying sick in bed, and you post something, which people do all the time, and I've seen people even in my own thing, that's happened to us in London a couple of times, and I'm just like, guys, if you want to lie to me, lie, but it's not going to, that doesn't work in your favor. And it kind of, when you're working in a small team with a small group of people, you need that level of trust. So, don't break that one rule is the one thing we have, is don't break our trust, right? You break our trust, we don't need you, because everyone is replaceable, and most of the guys we tend to work with, are they're pretty trustworthy, right? And that's the way we like it, and we want our staff to value us. We want to value our staff. It's that simple. They work well, we work well, we keep our customers happy, we all make money, right? That's what keeps everyone's, keeps everyone being able to stay and work from home, stay and do whatever. As long as you deliver what you're saying, I don't really care, right? But if you don't deliver, then there is some hell to pay. That's our attitude, and that's how we've seen that, our staff, they appreciate us because we're quite straightforward, we're quite down the line, but we don't play the office politics. We don't have that rubbish that, hey, he's done this, she's done that, he's he was off sick, but actually he was in. We haven't had that much problem, I would say, in the last year. Also, thankfully, because of COVID, people don't want to go out of their house, so they are stuck at home. They do want to work. They just want to get paid. They want to produce, and they want to wow their clients. Because each of our staff are on projects, right? So they have to wow the client at the end of the day. So yeah, that's how we've worked, and yeah, that's it really. That's our thinking.
Thank you, Mr. Sandeep. Over to Neha. Just a small reminder to keep your answers a little crisp, please. Over to Neha. Yes.
Completely agree with Sandeep. I think it is as per the needs of the client. We need to strike a balance to be able to deliver value to them. And, based on any digital model or, cost effective leadership, empathetic model, we really have to strike a balance in that. For this, I mean, like I would like to add is what we have applied is one of the things we have applied is we have tried to minimize, travel costs, which could save, I mean, like both on cost and time, save us both, and using online meetings and through apps. And secondly, I would also like to add that on the skill set front, we have tried to expend it more in these times since we have to be globally connected, and also being a performance oriented way. So this is how we have tried to strike a balance, and I hope we will continue doing the same.
Fantastic. Upskilling is absolutely a wonderful point to be noted because when the future is going on, we really need to scope up ourselves with a lot of skills to meet the upcoming pandemic and stuff. Fantastic, Neha. Let me quickly bring in Umesh, sir, at this junction. Mr. Umesh, over to you.
Yeah, so I'll be practical. Empathy and cost-effective leadership cannot sit on the one table. Effective leadership, so we follow a practice of effective leadership. What we mean by that is, so if there are employees on the seat, we tell them that either if you should have the necessary education, the skill, the experience, then only you are allowed to sit on the desk. If they can't, we have another angle. We tell them that we will pay for your education, for your upgrading, your skills, and whatever that is required. But we are ruthless. Ruthless in terms that you need to be perfect to the T in order to sit on the job, on the desk. Otherwise, we will help you, but you can't be on the job. So this is our way of effective leadership. Although optically we may be ruthless, but I think all employees are happy. They have really progressed. And our growth has been very fast because we got the right kind of people, right mindset, and people had the learning attitude. They kept on learning, they kept on increasing, and it was a win-win situation. So I think effective leadership is really that really works. But I think the empathy and cost-effective leadership are very contrasting terms, and only balance has to be striked. But otherwise, we cannot hold the both.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Umesh. Over to Sanam. Let me hear it from you.
Yes, I believe that being an empathetic leader is more of being a responsible leader. And, it is very important to have principles of being responsible leader like transparency, accountability, fairness, inclusiveness for the entire team and the diversity. And of course, being a cost-effective leader is a different perspective altogether. Cost-effective leader is more to do with attaining a sustainable competitive advantage and to, earn above average returns for an organization to remain productive and to remain profitable. So these are two different parameters, as Mr. Umesh rightly said. And we can strive to strike a balance between the both, because balance is really important in order for the team to grow and in order for the organization to grow collectively and collaboratively, and also for our consumers and our clients to be satisfied with our cost effectiveness plus being empathetic. So it's very important to strike that balance.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sanam. So over to Sandeep Jain.
Yeah, thank you. See, the way we handle it is a bit differently. What we say is we tell the employees to be empathetic to the organization, and we tell them to be cost-effective employees so that we all can reap more rewards. One thing what we have done is, particularly within the first 3 months of pandemic, when the lockdown began, one thing which we were trying to control is a lot of what we call rubbish management. When employees were there in the office, a lot of time used to go, as other speakers have also mentioned, in almost unnecessary trivialities, management issues, etc., nothing related to value of the organization. I think in first 3 months, because this came so suddenly, it became difficult for employees to embrace the new culture. So where we did was, within 3 months, we developed an internal productivity software, where we could actually show it to each employee at the end of the day on what has been achieved in terms of productivity and the KRAs that were given to him or she. So this helped us in two ways. It also helped us to understand what exactly is the gap analysis with the employee, why is he over delivering or under delivering, and in terms of employee, we could find out where is he lagging. Is it actually in the person, is it in the process, or is it something beyond his or her control? When we highlighted these points, and after around, I remember 3 to 3.5 months, we made a broad presentation to all the employees. For each and every employee, we created the dashboard and presented it to everyone, saying that, look, we all have our plus and minuses. There are some good areas, there are some bad areas. Let us agree in totality what we can remove in the new culture. And let's work with the new paradigm or the new going forward. And I think that worked very well. We said we are going to reduce rubbish management to zero. So an organization will empathize with you, you empathize with the organization, and we both become cost effective for the market. And then, probably we can charge a premium. And all that time, we could develop in, as other speakers also rightly said, in reskilling and other things. So it is very important. When we empathize, there is no need to sympathy. Let's be clear. The purpose of organization is to make money. And let's also be clear, this money comes from customers, provided services are given. So employees definitely become the backbone for any company if the processes and other things are in place. But yes, then clarifying that is very, very important.
All right. Thank you, Sandeep sir, for that lovely input. Over to Mr. Pradeep. Mr. Pradeep, are you with us? Pradeep Kumar Gohil. Yeah, please unmute yourself. Sir, please unmute yourself, Mr. Pradeep. Sir, it's still on mute. Yeah.
Today is a dangerous situation of the Indian economy. South Asia, like a SAARC country, because of most of people will be doing job, daily earning, daily surviving and all this. So now to exactly everybody, every industry, every government will apply this kind of the co-founder involvement or employment and all this thing. So there is a honest to do all the work and all the disaster to face, like the economy, job loss. So now we bringing a new type of the employment is a become a co-founder and all this, co-worker or co-partner in all this. So this way, common market or employee will be improved and they honest to do the all the any disaster of the company, like a financially or like a marketing, any kind of. So people become a co-founder or become a co-partner in this thing, like an employee come co-founder, employee come partner. So better for the Indian economy growth and all this. Otherwise, in the future, there is no in the same for maybe 10 years, next 10 years, we'll be losing Indian economy year to year. All this thing. So now is the right time to everybody.
All right.
Every partner, every startup, and all they make this kind of the co-founder or co-partner to their worker or their employee. It is better for the India.
All right.
Otherwise, what happens? You will just aware with all this thing and that the job lose and.
So you went on mute, Mr. Pradeep. Pradeep, sir, you went on mute.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is better time to every common market involving profit sharing, involving the founder, involving in all kind of the partnership and all this. Otherwise, India will go to danger zone in the economy.
Pradeep, I might have to ask you to cut right here because I'll come back to you in the next section.
We have to learn from the China.
True.
101% China going next to 50 years in the top level economic growth. and they corrupt to also our all the industry, all the big section. So we warning government also, we warning all the industry also, all the CEO, all
Pradeep
the
sir,
partners.
since the time is
Okay.
pressing, I might have to ask you to cut it here. So let me come back to the next round. Thank you, Mr. Pradeep. So yeah, moving forward, we'll be talking about the challenges we've been facing. But one thing which connects us as entrepreneurs is to find solutions, right? So what do you think should be the enterprise solutions or the technologies that the SMEs have to adopt to build resilience? So let me repeat my question. The kind of technologies that the SMEs have to adopt to build a digital resilience. Let me quickly ask to Mr. Sandeep, since the time is really pressing, kindly have your answer short. Over to Sandeep Golechha.
Yeah, I think SMEs just need to actually embrace what it means to be digital, right? So simple things like a website, reactive apps, things like this. See how they can actually reduce their sales cycles and their costs by actually leveraging technology. Instead of having to have lots of people, can we leverage technology to do that in a better way? I think those are the simplest things that any SME can do to actually move themselves forward.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sandeep. Yes, Neha, let me hear it from you.
SMEs, I think they are the pillar of our economy. So I think they need to build a cost-effective digital platform by investing effectively in ERPs, optimizing processes with various tools and applications readily available now, and at the same time having a robust data privacy system. Also, they need to have a targeted skill building to ensure they benefit from this key platform. I would just like to quote that this company called Celebify, they cater to marketing needs. And this can also be implemented, for effective business development. Having a digital customer-based platform, we can get through the social media platforms, which can also widen our customer base. One thing I would like to note and give it to bring to a note is that we want in our company we have to do a lot of credit checks, and we need a certificate of good standing for the customers. Since we are a service-oriented firm, so that is also can also be done through technology, which is readily available, and that's it.
All right. Thank you, Neha. So let me ask Umesh a different question. Since you are already in the securities field, I'm very sure you are a bit tech savvy. So let me ask you this, Mr. Umesh. How do you comment on how technology is changing the way we do business, Umesh?
So I think the best thing that for an organization to really grow is to hire a CTO. This part of function, technology has to be built in-house in order to have a long-term sustainable growth. Otherwise, taking shortcuts, cost will be higher in the long term. Although short term it may look a little better, but I think technology is a long-term planning, and one needs to really understand, plan for it. And as I said, one should have a long-term view, but it will be tough. Short term it will be tough because you need to have a build. So currently we have, out of 350 people, half are tech guys, and this is how our CTO we had 5 years ago before, and after that I think we had a phenomenal growth. There was no looking back. So currently going on a SaaS model or saving on cost, but I think that's really will not really help in a long-term sustainable growth, because down the line they will want a share of pie from our profits. So if in order to keep the cost at minimum, one needs to have that in-house, and I think that many people are not going that route. If possible, I think they should have in-house tech team.
Thank you, Mr. Umesh. Yes, let me quickly ask Sanam regarding the same. Sanam, over to you.
Sure. As Neha rightly said, that SMEs are, the pillar of economy, and it's very imperative for the SMEs to adopt future technologies like artificial intelligence, automation, and to adopt a lot of open source community frameworks. Like, for example, Intel has got one of the most popular open source community framework for deep learning and artificial intelligence, which is an amalgamation of a lot of innovation cycles like NLP, computer vision, IoT, and many others. It's very, very imperative for the SMEs to adopt these technologies and adopt even edge computing if they are into analytics, data analytics, and ensuring that the data is not lying in silos and it is utilized in an accurate manner at the right time for generating the right kind of data insights and to generate the right kind of relations, amongst the data when the data has been explored on IBM Watson, Cognos Analytics, or any other artificial intelligence backed, tool. So it's very important for SME to adopt all of this, and very simplistically, as mentioned by Mr. Sandeep Golechha, that it's very important for the SMEs to have, I totally agree, to have a dynamic kind of a website, so that dynamic and interactive kind of a website, so that their particular products are reached to the consumers in a simplistic manner, and they are adopted in their space. Everyone is at home these days, so they should be able to adopt those products and services in a very simplistic manner, and they should be loyal to those products and services.
Thank you, Sanam. Thank you so much. Just let me ask Mr. Sandeep Jain again a different question. So, what was that one major initiative of your organization to growth? It can be a one-word answer or it can be one sentence, but one major initiative to reset growth. What was it, Mr. Sandeep Jain?
I think the automation of employee productivity. If I were to just answer in one word, we created an automation. We automated the measurement of productivity of employees when working remote.
Okay.
So that could help the employees empathize with where they are, and even organization in turn to see where we all are going. When we have 100 to 150 people at different locations, the important thing is there has to be delivery at the end of the day. So that was one thing. I think automation of productivity software that really changed the whole scenario with us. And then it didn't matter whether they come to the office or not.
Fantastic, Sandeep. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Pradeep Kumar, let me ask you the same question. What was that one major initiative to reset growth? Pradeep Kumar Gohil.
It is maybe not in the early stages about every kind of the AI, because we are making exercise like any kind of transport, kind of the so we don't depend on as our large population and all this thing. So you just imagine every big industry will be converted into AI and all these things. So people have to know job and all this. So we have to control. Some sector will be reduced all kind of the AI. Some sector will be AI and all this. But we don't depend on it, because every time whenever sell also AI, so main power is compulsory to test this all these things. So we don't appreciate AI and all these things, because man made by the naturally in all these things. There is a need to exercise every kind of this. So we don't want any big revolution in India. Otherwise, we going to all the jobless, create all the demonstration on the road and on the and unemployment of people and all this thing. So we don't save any time to picture, because we have a lot of time. Everybody has a lot of time to do any kind physically and all this thing. Not depend on AI and all this thing. Because there is a country is low population in the USA, but here we situation is India. So don't depend on AI, don't appreciate most AI, which is damage to all our physically and mentally and jobless and all these things. So we have to create balance in AI or not AI and all. That is future of the India. Otherwise, you aware all this. Job नहीं है, SME बंद हुआ है, ये है, whatever. So we need SME maybe continue also, but not adapt AI by the effect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Pradeep. So fantastic. So I think with that, we come to the end of yet another wonderful, roundtable technical based questions. But let me quickly ask you, let's have it as a rapid fire round. Let me have it like this. So this is like a personal question, maybe, what do you read or watch? So you can tell me anything. One, read or watch to get your business updates. It's going to be a very rapid fire round. Let me start with Mr. Sandeep Golechha.
I've been watching this thing called CNBC Hours in India. It's been I'm not very much into stock market as much as the rest of my family. So yeah, it's been very interesting to see how India's changed and how the companies have been doing. Apart from that, I read a lot of Wall Street Journal, FT, Sifted in the UK, in Europe, EU startups, stuff like that,
Thank you, Mr. Sandeep. Over to Neha.
I read a lot of business journals and I do a lot of research online. Apart from that, a lot of reading on FT blogs.
Okay.
That's it.
Fine. Fantastic, Neha. Yes, over to Sanam.
Yes, a lot of CNBC business news and a lot of business editorials and publications. And of course, this is the best.
Fantastic. A lot of CNBC viewers here, I believe. Yes, Umesh.
Yeah, so I read and meditate upon myself, and I get up early in the morning. I think that really changed my life. We keep on reading, so all those normal things are there, but I think this piece of information that reflecting upon our own self, reading our own self, and getting up early in the morning, I think that's best way of doing, and that really has 10x productivity in my life.
Fantastic, Mr. Umesh. Yes, Sandeep Jain.
Yeah, I do reading. I do reading a lot, and definitely in the evening hours, particularly, which gives time to introspection and check. I think blogs. Some of the blogs are really good. I do ensure that I blog as well as follow a few of the blogs, and then some primary research on some of the new ideas that are floating, how the market moving with that, etc. Then anything on them.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Sandeep Jain. Yes, Pradeep Kumar Gohil. Sir, you're on mute. Yeah.
I appreciate all kind of the reading or online or conference, but I decide what can I do next to reaction. We care about all these things, but we have to destroy all not necessary information or any kind of the litigation and all this thing. So I apply all kind of the information or reading or online or conference, and I make myself better to present in my application and my activities and my motivation.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Pradeep. Yes, with that, we officially conclude the CXO Roundtable Mumbai. I personally had a fantastic 60 minutes of time getting inputs from various walks of life, because just when I thought things were really getting technical, we had Umesh barging in and talking about how to reflect on yourself. So that was a very valid point to talk about at an entrepreneur's point of view. So this last 60 minutes was completely knowledge sharing, technical, and was a lot of fun. So this is going to be streamed on YouTube in a week's time. So the viewers who are going to watch it I think we'll be getting a lot of knowledge which they will be implementing in their business. So let me quickly call upon Janis, the Regional Director of Marketing for Mumbai Tata Telebusiness, to give away a closing thought for today's session. Janis, over to you. Janis, are you with us? Let us wait for 15 seconds. Janis will be back.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Janis. Quicker than I thought. Over to you.
Yeah. So I want to thank each and every panel for taking out time for this CXO roundtable. And at least for me, I have gained a lot of insights. What is happening across various industries in your specific areas. And I'm sure the participants who have logged in, they have also gained. I would definitely look forward to engage with each one of you in the future, and we'll be very happy to have you again on board for this session. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Janis. Thank you so much, dear speakers, for spending your valuable time with us. And on behalf of the talk, I wish you all the very best in your endeavors in the coming days. And until next time, this is me, Muthu, signing off. Yet another interesting episode of CXO Talk. Have a fantastic week ahead.